Fallen into the darkest pit of the great Orcus labyrinth, Hajime Nagumo frantically looks around for help, hoping that maybe one of his classmates will come to his rescue. However, the only sign of life he can discover in the deepest and darkest pit of the labyrinth are the most powerful and feared beasts one could imagine. Face sculptured with fear, Hajime witnesses a bloody massacre, with the beasts killing each other for food and survival. One of the bear-like beasts spots him, slicing his arm off, making him scream at the top of his lungs and run for safety. Burying himself into a hole, Hajime recalls how he came to being left in the pit. A few days back, loving a normal high school life, Hajime and a couple other classmates of his were suddenly teleported to this stranger world. Everyone received some kind of power except poor Hajime. Mocked and degraded for not having any magical capabilities, Hajime's classmates make him the butt of all jokes, until finally, to rid of the burden, which some consider Hajime, one of them pushes him into the pit, whilst he tries to save Shirasaki-san, a girl who loves him. Realizing that enough is enough, Hajime hatches a mastermind plan to capture two beast wolves, which he eats raw. But the moment the beast meat enters his body, their blood and DNA mixes with his, granting him abnormal magical powers. With his new sought powers, Hajime plunders the beasts in the dungeons, this time stronger and hungrier for power. There are three types of beings living in the kingdom: humans, demons, and beastmen. The humankind and the demons have been engaged in a bloody war for centuries, but with the demons now in control of the beastmen, the scales tip against the humans, who are close to extinction. That is why heroes were brought into this world, to bring balance to everything. Shirasaki wakes up after being knocked out in the battle and asks to know where Hajime is. Hearing that he didn't survive sends her into tears. Meanwhile, Hajime feasts on the demon's meat and tries to find out how many levels below he has traveled since he fell into the pit. Traveling 50 levels below, he discovers a door guarded by two gigantic monsters, one with defensive capabilities, the other a more attacking predator. They prove not much of a challenge for dear Hajime, who shoots them down with his well-created handgun and uses their mana balls to open the door. Sealed behind the doors is a beautiful girl who tells her story of being betrayed by her own people, and due to her immortal powers, was sealed behind the doors. Seeing her as a mirror image of himself, Hajime frees her. Asking him to give her a name, Hajime calls her Yue. Their moment gets interrupted by an attack from behind, which he protects her from. A venomous scorpion-like creature throws its spikes at Hajime, which he dodges, saving Yue from its venom. Naked, but not scared from the monstrous entity, Yue climbs onto his back, while he sprints through the cave shooting at it with his trusted pistol called Donner. Yet it does little to no effect on the beast. Yue jumps off and sucks at his shoulder, absorbing his mana, and when she has had her fill, motioning towards the monster, she incarnates A-level magic and smashes it with a giant magic ball. The duo work together to defeat the monster. On the other hand, in the Pope's palace, the heroes get orders to sweep the lower dungeons to increase their powers. We are back again with Hajime, who seems to be running for his life while being chased by dinosaurs with flowers on the tip of their nose. To top it off, Yue is busy sucking his blood because, as she says, it tastes so good. They track the parasite behind the flowers that control the minds of the beasts. Hidden in a cave, pollen scattered in the air, the beast takes control of Yue as a flower grows on top of her. Casting her magic on Hajime, Yue stands helpless to the control of the beast. Despite the difficult angle, he takes a perfect shot at the beast, killing it and freeing Yue. They proceed to travel all the way to level 100 and open the enigmatic doors to a whole new adventure. Laden with a shimmering bright light and casting a royal look, they enter what seems the Maverick's lair, the creator of all the different levels of the labyrinth. Holding hands, they proceed to the final boss, which appears to be a six-headed dragon. The dragons created in perfect balance, one head to defend, one to heal, while the rest attack. They give Hajime a run for his money, making it complicated for him to fight them off while they heal each other on the very next second. One of the dragons put Yue into a trance, giving her the impression that she has been sealed again, with him abandoning her. A scream of pain erupts from the vampire princess, who faints. Hajime comes to her rescue, kissing her delicate lips and reassuring her that they will go home together. The six-headed dragon proves to be a formidable foe, almost leading Hajime to death's door, but alas, with the help of his beloved, they turn the monster into ashes. Meanwhile, the Pope has bigger plans in the palace: to send everyone to the Orcus labyrinth again and fight, which they do. After their fierce win against the six-headed demon, Hajime falls unconscious to the ground. Their victory causes the glamorous door to open, allowing Yue to drag his body to a mansion, clean him up, and sleep with him naked. My man. Waking up, he explores the mansion with Yui, where they come across the corpse of a man sitting on a chair. Situated near the center of the room is a design looking like a key, which Hajime stands on, hoping to find answers. The design glows bright purple, revealing an image of a young man near the corpse. The man introduces himself as Oscar Orcus, the man who built the labyrinth, congratulating him on successfully completing all levels and bestowing upon him his powers, hoping that he won't use them for evil. On the other hand, the heroes make their way to level 65 and come in direct contact with the same monster that caused them to retreat before, also resulting Hajime being betrayed and thrown into the abyss. This time stronger and more confident, they defeat it effortlessly. Given the Maverick's powers and knowledge, Hajime spends 2 months to understand each and everything about the demon world, before finally transporting to the surface with Yui. The two thankfully reach the surface in one piece, and are at once stopped by a girl with rabbit ears, calling herself Shea, daughter of the Holia Beast tribe. Seeking their help to save her family, Hajime gives her the cold shoulder, since he isn't interested in helping anyone. Shea quickly inputs her feature-seeing abilities, as well as the fact that she can guide them for their journey to the Great Tree in the Halsina Sea of Trees, which manages to persuade Yui, who agreed to help her. They kill the predators that bully the Holia Beast tribe. In addition, he teaches them how to fight, transforming their delicate nature to a bloody thirsty one. Shea guides them to the Great Tree, but it seems like they cannot access the entrance to another labyrinth due to not completing all the requirements. They then venture out to find the rest of the labyrinths. Oh, and Shea tags along with them. Having the useless bunny girl proves to be beneficial after all, playing her part to find Melody Raisin's labyrinth and getting scared to the point where she wets herself. Shea is a handful. The trio complete the huddles that come their way while venturing through Melody's labyrinth, but somehow keep coming back to where they had started. Out of breath and patience, Hajime breaks open the final door that leads them to Melody's chamber. Crashing through those walls wasn't really a good idea. With countless knights just waiting to attack, they should have used a more stealth mode. Nonetheless, they blissfully soar through the knights. Shea bangs a handful of them with one sweep of her mallet, paving their way to the final boss. Melody comes in with a complete artillery. Cladded in impregnable armor and firepower, it takes the trio a joint effort to bring Melody down. Using the little bit of her powers, Melody advises him by saying, "I hope you are able to live your life as freely as you choose to." She later hands them another labyrinth ring before finally kicking them out of her dungeon. Ilwer Chang, head of the Furhan Adventurers Guild, requests Hajime and his group to help him on a quest to locate missing adventurers, among which is the third son of Count Kudeta, Will Kudeta. Not wanting to take up requests, Hajime dismisses the quest, but gets stopped in his track when Ilwer offers to protect their group if they ever get in trouble with the guild. An offer they simply cannot refuse. They set out to locate the missing adventurers. He does a quick stop at Lake Town of where he happens to meet his former teacher, who recognizes him by his voice. Tears in her eyes and happy that he survived, but heartbroken by his cold attitude. He later meets her alone to explain everything that happened to him and his future plans to locate all the labyrinth rings and safely return home. Above that, also clarifying that he didn't fall into the pit by accident but was betrayed by one of his own classmates. His sensei, adamant to know more of what came across her student's life during his time in the pit, requests to help him search for the adventurers, to which he agrees. They reach the forest where Hajime releases his human locating automations that he calls Ornis. Luckily for them, the Ornis locate missing armor, and even surprising are the foot impressions left behind in the vicinity. Tracking the footprints, they reach a waterfall where they find the unconscious Will Kudeta. Slapping him awake, Will whimpers in fear and hurt over the loss of his fellow comrades and the appearance of a big black dragon. While making their way back, the dragon reappears before them, ghastly in appearance, thick, solid scales, and unimaginable firepower. Alas, the dragon gets taken down by Hajime. Can you blame him? He has fought tougher beasts down in the labyrinth. This is where he plays his trick by sticking a huge rod up to the dragon's ass, making it scream at the top of her voice, begging him to take the rod out. Calmer now, it explains how a sorcerer controlled her mind and usurped her freedom, thus making her do the killing. She further explains the sorcerer's plan to create an army of monsters. Hajime pulls the rod out, making the dragon do a very pleasurable scream. Didn't know they like that sort of stuff. Yikes. She then transforms into a young woman, calling herself Tio Flaris, a member of the Claris clan of Dragonborn. Her words come out as true when Hajime sights an army of monsters making their way to town to destroy it, compelling him to help them. Is it just me, or does every girl that Hajime saves want to join him on his quest? Tio begs to join and help him in any way possible, be it her powers or her body. A pissed Hajime gives no direct answer and focuses on the huge army coming his way. With a heart-throbbing speech to the people of he gets ready with his trio plus a very perverted Tio, gallantly fighting the beasts and trying his best to locate the perpetrator behind it all. Hajime finally catches him. A young kid named Shimizu-kun is led back to Hatayama-sensei and questioned over his reasons to do this, to which he replies it was merely to kill her and make all the demons bow down to him. Engulfed in his greed for power, Shimizu stabs Hatayama with a poisonous needle. Luckily, Hajime saves her by giving her a holy water via a kiss. Man, is he getting lucky too often? Then proceeds to kill Shimizu, since he was already on the path towards evil. A group of men in the sewers capture a merfolk child and get her ready to auction her off. Hajime and Shia decide to take a tour of the city, since that was what he promised her if she fought gallantly. A man of his word, the two explore the city. However, he senses a feeble child below the sewers, whom he saves and takes her to a safe place. The child introduces herself as Mew, who was kidnapped by an underground gang to auction her off. Not wanting to take up more responsibilities, Hajime leaves Mew under the care of the city guards to send her back to her family. Seconds don't tick by when she is kidnapped again by the same gang. Anger boils inside of him. Hajime soars through the city with his group and besieges the gang's hideout, killing the gang leader and setting their demonic place on fire. Hajime adopts little Mew, who seems to have gotten very attached to her, now big bro. God knows what has gotten into Shia taking Hajime's bike. She showcases some pretty decent tricks as they make their way to the outpost town of Dorad, handing a letter to one of the guild leaders written by Ilwer about their detailed adventure. While going through it, they get interrupted by Endo, one of Hajime's classmates, who begs for his help to save their kin against a demonic creature. Down in the 90th floor of the labyrinth, Hajime's classmates are met by a demon girl with the ability to control monsters. Offering them to join her, but receiving a big refusal in return, she lets hell loose, killing each and every one that comes in her way. On death's door and waiting to die, the heroes close their eyes to meet their fate, but to their rescue comes none other than Hajime himself. Redemption. Like the dead brought back to life, Hajime's classmates can't believe their eyes that he is still alive, but even more by the fact that he is stronger and a completely transformed man. Brandishing his weapons, Hajime kills all the monsters without so much as a sweat dripping from his brow. The person even more surprised was the traitor who had on purpose hit Hajime with his powers, making him end up in the pit. Yue senses his negative energy, turns around, and with her death stare tells him not to interfere. Hajime successfully defeats all the monsters, even the demon girl who lets out the truth of how she got control of her powers through someone else. They leave the pit safely, rejoicing over being saved. Shirasaki, Hajime's so-called lover, who had promised to protect him before he fell the pit, asks to join him on his journey, to which Yui agrees, and they all make their way to find the rest of the labyrinths. The end.